Have you ever seen a brand new car with low mileage listed for sale at a dealership? What do you think happened to it? Was it repossessed from someone who couldn't keep up with their monthly payments? Did the person simply change their mind after taking delivery of the vehicle and decide they wanted something else? Or maybe they were leasing it and now it's time to turn it in. The truth is, any of those scenarios could be accurate. And what all of these examples have in common is that the person driving this car never actually ended up owning it. They just made a bunch of payments over a long period of time and then gave it back with nothing to show for it. In this example, this person could have bought the same car outright for the same price and been left with an asset instead of just throwing money away. But this happens way more often than you would think, especially with businesses. According to data released by Bank of America, over 75% of their commercial vehicle customers are currently leasing and not buying their cars. It seems like such an easy mistake to make. Just because something is shiny and new doesn't mean it makes sense to lease it. But before we start jumping on our high horse, let's examine why so many people are making this mistake. To start off, leasing a car often seems like the easier option because your monthly payments are typically lower. And let's be real, most people don't have enough money to just go out and buy a car outright. The average car payment in the U.S. is $563 per month, according to Experian's State of the Automotive Finance Market, Q3 of 2022 report. That's almost double the average rent payment across the country. So financing and leasing vehicles allows people to drive newer cars that they otherwise won't be able to afford. For businesses, leasing can also seem like the better option, since it can free up capital to fund other parts of the business. This may make sense for some companies where the cost of capital is high and they can put that money to better use elsewhere. But most individuals are better off buying a car outright if they can afford to do so. And if they can't, then leasing might not be the best solution. Monthly payments will be lower, but how much lower? Let's look at a few examples to see what's really happening here. We'll use a popular car buying website to analyze 3 different scenarios. The first scenario is that you want to buy a 2023 Ford F-150 XLT Super Crew. Let's compare this to a slightly less expensive vehicle. We'll look at the Toyota Tacoma SR5 Access Cab 4x4. Buying this truck outright would cost you $45,610, loaned. Over 72 months at 7%, you would end up with a monthly payment of $660. If you wanted to lease this vehicle, you'd only have to pay $544 per month, saving you around $115 each month. That's still a lot of money, but it represents a smaller percentage of the overall cost compared to the previous example. Over the course of 7 years, you would pay $16,000 more by leasing this vehicle than buying it outright. So what about cheaper vehicles? Well, let's look at the Honda Civic Hatchback Sport Touring. Buying this car outright costs $30,150, loaned out over 72 months at 7% interest. You would end up with a monthly payment of $440. By leasing this car, you would save $150 per month. While this still represents a huge sum of money, it's even less as a percentage of the overall cost compared to the previous 2 examples. After 7 years, you would spend $18,000 more by leasing this car than if you had bought it outright. As you can see, leasing saves you a bit of money in every scenario. But the cheaper the vehicle is to begin with, the less sense it makes to lease it. If you're buying a car under $30,000, leasing it might actually be worse than just paying the higher monthly payment. So why are so many people choosing to lease instead of buy? Well, there are a few reasons. First of all, leasing can be a good option if you do plan on keeping a vehicle for a long time. Most leases are between 2 and 4 years long. So if you plan on buying a car and then trading it in within that time frame, you won't have to worry about getting stuck with negative equity like some people did during the 2008 financial crisis. That was one of the biggest benefits of leasing during the housing boom, when people were buying luxury vehicles that dropped in value by 60% or more. Now that the market has cooled down, leasing makes far less sense. Another reason why leasing can be appealing is that you never have to deal with selling a car again. When your lease is up, you just turn the keys back into the dealership and move on to the next one. This can be appealing to people who do unenjoy dealing with private party sellers or going back and forth with potential buyers. However, this convenience comes at a high price. Instead of building equity in your car, you're just throwing money away. To make matters worse, leasing often makes it harder to upgrade to a nicer car later on. That's because leasing a vehicle usually requires you to have a good credit score and a steady income. If your financial situation changes and you can no longer afford the monthly payments on your current lease, you'll be stuck with a car that you can't afford. On the other hand, if you own your car outright, it may be worth a little less, but you can always sell it to make some money back before downgrading to something more affordable. Now, you might be wondering how much money you're actually losing when you lease a car? Well, that depends on a few factors like how much you drive and how much you negotiate off the sticker price. However, it's safe to say that if you're releasing a car for more than 2 to 3 years, you're probably paying too much. A good rule of thumb is that for every $10,000 you borrow, you'll pay $1,000 in interest over the life of the loan. So if you're borrowing $30,000 to buy a car, expect to pay around $3,000 in interest. Now imagine that you lease that same car for 3 years. Even if you get a great deal and only pay $300 per month, you'll end up paying $10,800 by the end of the lease term. That means you're repaying 3 times more for the exact same thing, just because you chose to lease rather than buy. It's important to remember that when you lease a car, you're essentially renting it from the manufacturer for a set period of time. You're not actually buying the car and taking ownership of it like you would if you bought it outright or financed it. Instead, you're just paying a fee to drive it around and using it as if you own it. And because of this, it's important to understand how depreciation works. When you buy a new car, it loses value immediately. This is because once you drive it off the lot, it's no longer considered new and its value begins to decline. The average car loses about 11% of its value in the first year and 17% in the second year. After that, the car continues to lose value, but at a slower pace. Now, when you lease a car, the manufacturer knows that it's going to lose value over time. So they build that cost into the monthly payment. However, they also factor in a little bit of extra profit for themselves. So if you're leasing a car, it's important to understand how much depreciation is normal and how much is excessive. In most cases, a car will lose somewhere between 15 and 20% of its value in the first year. If you're leasing a car and it loses more than that, it may be worth looking into further. So to recap, leasing a car can save you a bit of money up front, but it also prevents you from ever actually owning it. If you plan on keeping your car for longer than 3 years, it's probably better to buy it outright. Leasing can be a good option if you want to drive a nicer car than you can afford, or if you do want to worry about selling the car when you're done with it. But it's important to understand how much depreciation is normal and how much is excessive. If you're not sure what to do, it may be worth talking to a financial advisor. What's the moral of the story? Remember, shiny things aren't always worth the price tag. Sometimes it's better to stick with what you got and save yourself a headache. That being said, do you think leasing makes sense in today's market? Comment below and let me know. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends. It's the best way to support us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next video where we will dissect what net wealth or net assets stand for.